What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies home of Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today we are talking about another episode of Should the Memphis Grizzlies Draft? And today's prospect is Nate Ament out of Tennessee. And we will answer the question, should the Memphis Grizzlies draft him, pass on him, or laugh at him for wanting to wear Beale Street blue? Let's get into it. Before we go any further, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the beginning of the next basketball season, and I need your help to get there. Thank you very much for clicking on this video.
Wait, I did come in for the 808. 808. Big man in the paint, I talk hoops. Lay up, free throw and swoosh. Throw and swoosh.
Nate Ament grew up in Virginia and came to University of Tennessee as one of the most highly touted freshmen in the 2026 draft class. He was a projected top 5 pick coming into this season, and due to a slow start, he kind of lost his way. He is 19 years old. He's a freshman, and we have to see what he has ahead of him. In 35 games at the University of Tennessee, he averaged 16.7 points, 6.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1 steal, and 0.6 blocks per game in 29.7 minutes. His true shooting percentage was just 53.4 or 22nd percentile. His box plus minus was 7.2 or 67th percentile. Not the all-star 10 plus that I like, but 7.2 is pretty respectable for a true freshman. On the offensive side, his offensive box plus minus was 4.5 or 60th percentile, and free throw rate was 57.8%, which ranked him at the 93rd percentile. He got to the line at an elite rate. His free throw percentage was just 79%. We'd like that to be up around 85% for a wing, but it was on 13.5 attempts per 100 possessions. The efficiency numbers are the issue. He had a rim percentage of 51.8%, which ranks at the 4th percentile. His mid-range percentage was 37.3%, which ranked at the 45th percentile. His three-point percentage was 33.3%, which is 36th percentile. But here is the context of those numbers. He had a terrible start to his college career. And after a terrible game against Texas on January 6th, where he had 8 points, 5 turnovers in just 22 minutes, Ament averaged 22 points and 6.5 rebounds over the next 12 games on significantly better efficiency. The second half of the season was a different player than the first half. At the combine, he measured 6'9.5" barefoot, which puts him at an even 6'11" in playing height, which is outstanding for a wing player. He had a wingspan of 6'11.5" and a standing reach of 9'1.5", which is 99th percentile. The athleticism, the standing vertical, 31 inches, max vertical, 37 inches, lane agility, 11.27 seconds, and sprint, 3.26 seconds. He topped out as a pretty average athlete, but the height and standing reach are outstanding for a wing player. The athleticism, is average, which is probably why his finishing at the rim has been a problem. He is not getting to the line because he is blowing by people. He is getting there because he is drawing contact at a high rate with his size and touch. So let's get into what Nate Ament does well. Size and shooting potential at his height. At 6'11" with a 99th percentile standing reach, he releases the ball from the point most defenders simply cannot contest, especially on the wing. His release was described as a shot having a naturally high release point that gives him value as a floor spacer even when the mechanics are not perfect. When he is set and balanced, the shot is clean. The high school tape says this is a shooter. The pre-NCAA shooting priors are strong, and the mid-season improvement shows that college efficiency is or was trending in the right direction. Secondly, getting to the free throw line and drawing contact. His free throw rate was elite. His attempts per 100 possession of 13.5, also elite. On almost 200 attempts this season, he converted 79%. He plays through contact. Although he is lanky and skinny and he needs some physical development, he is not afraid of contact. He seeks out the big or the help when he drives and manufactured free throws even when the paint finishing percentage was not there. That ability to get to the line keeps him in rhythm offensively and is the reason his scoring volume held up despite poor shooting efficiency elsewhere. Thirdly, feel, fluidity, and off-ball movement. He was described as a player who could operate both on and off the ball, and I think initially that off the ball would be his primary role in the NBA. He moves gracefully for his size, handles pressure from defenders, and shows guard-like instincts that trace back to his positional background. He runs off screens, attacks closeout, and makes the extra pass when defenses collapse. He is not a selfish player. Running him through movement to catch and shoot or attack rotating defenses is exactly how a player of his size and skill set gets maximized in a modern NBA offense. The concerns are real. Firstly, rim finishing and efficiency. His rim finishing is almost, I would just describe it as terrible. It was at the 4th percentile. He gets into the paint, 6.2 rim attempts per 100 possessions, but he does not convert. He is 46.9% on layups, which is concerning for somebody who is 6'11", and drawing contact and getting to the line. He does not dunk much given his size. If his finishing does not improve, he will not get to the line at the same rate at the NBA level, where contact is not rewarded as generously and his entire offensive structure shifts. Second, shooting efficiency across the board. He was not efficient shooting almost from anywhere on the court, and that is a big problem. But the second half improvement was real, and it needs to be weighed heavily. The full season numbers are what they are, and asking front offices to bet a top 15 pick on a shooting percentage that needs to improve across 3 zones is a hard sell. Finally, frame and strength. At 211 pounds, at 6'11", it is the most immediate issue. He needs to get stronger so he can finish through contact, hold his position defensively, and battle in the paint for rebounds. He gets boxed out easily, and he is not a shot blocker. He can be bullied by stronger, more explosive players on drive, but the frame is projectable. He is just 19 years old, and he needs to add significant functional strength before the NBA physicality becomes a problem for him. In Memphis, I don't know what to say. Now, he is projected around the 16th pick that the Memphis Grizzlies have. He could go earlier. He could go later. He's not a player that I would advocate trading up for, but if they are at 16 and he is still on the board, he is a name I would consider. As I know a lot of Grizzlies have some real PTSD from Zaire Williams, a guy who's long, can guard on the perimeter, and never quite puts it together offensively. But for me, that is the floor for Nate Ament, and the floor is not terrible. It is a rotation level wing that is worth a mid-first round pick, in my opinion. Now, the ceiling we'll talk about with the comp. And you've already known, I've already did a video on this. The comp for me is Jaden McDaniels. And I mean this seriously, not as a stretch. If you go back to 2020, like I said, Jaden McDaniels was also a top 10 recruit, a projected top 5 pick heading into his freshman season. And then college happened. He had poor efficiency throughout his college season, and he had attitude problems. 6 years later, he was outplaying Nikola Jokic in a closing playoff game and was called the best all-around player on the court. He is considered one of the premier wing stoppers in the NBA. And him and Nate Ament have almost identical physical dimensions coming into the league. Now, they both shot poorly, almost identical. And they have the same strength concerns. Now, Ament's overall game is a little more fleshed out than McDaniels was coming into the NBA. So my bet is that an NBA strength and conditioning program would do wonders for him, and some lucky franchise is going to benefit 3 to 4 years down the road. So let's answer the question. Should the Memphis Grizzlies draft Nate Ament? And I say yes, if he's there at 16. There might be other options that I would prefer better, and that would depend on what the board looks like when we get to 16 and we see who's on the board. But I have a hard time believing that there are 4 to 5 better swings than Nate Ament. Now, I admit, if it doesn't work, it's going to look a little bit like Zaire. It's going to look terrible. It doesn't work. He's going to be a functional player. Remember, Zaire was starting in playoff games as a rookie. So he is going to be a functional player. But will he be able to be a starter or a significant role player on a high-level team? That remains to be seen if it doesn't work out. But if it does work out, if he becomes an efficient shooter, if he still can get to the line, if his defense can still hold up as he gets stronger, you are looking at somebody who is going to be hard to deal with. We are talking about a 6'11" wing. And like I told you in other videos, with Boozer and Edie next to him, and said also, that is a heck of a lineup. So, Grizz Nation, I already know how y'all feel about Nate Ament. I've been listening to y'all. I've been reading your tweets. I've been hearing your comments. Y'all think he's Zaire Williams. He is not Zaire Williams, in my opinion. But let me know, what do you really think of Nate Ament? Do you really think, even if we have a mid outcome for Nate Ament, he could still be a functional player in the NBA, a rotation player in the NBA? Let me know in the comment section. I am Memphis X, and I talk hoops. I'll see you in the next episode.
I did come in for the 808. Big man